I don't think I'm the first person to ask this, but how have film cameras become so popular?
Say, do you know what this is? It's a Kodak 35mm color.
In a world of smartphones, filters, Instagram, and Photoshop, it's weird to think that an old, analog form of photography has made such a comeback. And it's not just the professionals who are getting into them. The disposable camera industry has seen a very steady incline in sales over recent years. And hashtag 35mm and Film Is Not Dead receive millions of posts to Instagram every day. As well as this, it seems that at every party, there's always someone in the corner with a disposable film camera, ready to capture you at your best moment. But I suspect that film photos are more than just a trend. I've been taking photos for about 5 years now, and having used some very nice and fancy digital cameras, I believe there's something truly special and unique about film photos. A rare glimpse into a time where people weren't so obsessed about how they looked over the internet. I believe there is a larger story at play here, one that is deeper than looking quirky at your school formal, and one that says a lot about how we view the world today. So, I went to go find the answers to this burning question I had. Why are film cameras so popular?
Polaroid announces an economy. Easy loading the film. Let me show you how easy Kodak has made it for you and me with the same great film.
Firstly, let's have a look at the history of film cameras. The very first form of photography started off thousands of years ago, where people figured out that they could project an image on a wall through a tiny pinhole in an enclosed box, in a process known as the camera obscura. The light entering this hole projected an image from the outside world. The only downside was that no printing was possible, and you sort of had to be there to see it. It wasn't until Joseph Niepce, a French inventor, developed a bitumen solution in the 1800s, in which he coated on a pewter plate and exposed to the sun for about 8 to 10 hours, resulting in the first photo ever taken, an image of his courtyard estate, not too far from some of the blurry masterpieces you see on Facebook nowadays. Fast forward a few years, and the first mass-marketed camera was released, which cost about $7,000 and had an exposure time of up to 30 minutes. This is probably why so many people looked grumpy in old photos, as they had to sit still for up to half an hour. It wasn't then until 1888 when the Kodak was released, the first ever film camera. The cool thing about this camera is that it came with a roll of film, which captured negative images within fractions of a second, which Kodak later developed for you, so no more Mark Zuckerberg impressions.
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
You've also probably heard of the term 35mm, and like me, wonder what the hell it actually meant. So, basically, from 1934, it was the standard of film used in every camera, and each frame within the roll had a width of 35mm. This type of film allowed for the same cassette to be used in cameras from all different brands, resulting in a spike in popularity with film cameras. Then, over the period of a few decades, came things like colour film, autofocus, and the widespread use of Polaroid cameras.
The Polaroid spectra system is calling.
Until finally, in the early 1990s, came the introduction of digital photography, the thing that ultimately killed the production of film cameras.
Most people shoot their pictures with conventional cameras and film. But now with digital cameras, you can actually store those images with removable memory cards like this.
Unlimited photos, no development fees, these new digital cameras became widespread and were aided by advancements like the internet. In 2004, Kodak announced that it would stop producing all its film cameras. And although disposable cameras were still being created, for the average person, this looked like the end of film photography. That is, until something happened.
This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
In January of 2007, Apple revealed their newest product, the iPhone, branding it as a magical device 5 years ahead of any other mobile phone. One of the best new features about it was its camera, a whopping 2 megapixels. But nonetheless, it meant that people had access to a high-quality digital camera in their pockets wherever they went. From then, millions more people started using smartphones, and particularly with the introduction of Instagram in 2012, billions of people around the world had the opportunity to take photos of whatever they wanted to and share them across the internet. But you have to remember, our Instagram feeds aren't a reflection of who we are, but rather who we want to be. Social media is just a slice of real life. There is nothing particularly special about an endless stream of thoughtless photos, especially when they are so clearly unrealistic and fake. This is why I argue film cameras have become so popular, as they're a rare drop of authenticity in an otherwise vast, unauthentic ocean. And while it's difficult to pinpoint the exact moment in time when they started gaining popularity, I believe it's around here, when the first filters started to come onto social media, and people's lives and experiences started to become more and more shaped by social media. So, this leads me to 3 main points as to why film cameras have become so popular, and the first of these is the idea of authenticity. One of the most unique things about film cameras is that you only get one shot. Being present and focusing on capturing the moment as it plays out before you carries so much more meaning and importance than spamming the camera button on an iPhone. With only 24 chances at capturing a single moment, experience, or emotion in still, you have to be extremely careful of what you point your camera at, and because of this, you can get a rare glimpse into people's true selves.
I took one.
Are you for real?
What?
Are you serious right now?
What?
Take 20.
20?
Take 30.
Why?
A good way to describe it is that an iPhone is like a light machine gun in Call of Duty, while a film camera is like a sniper rifle in Battlefield. As a result of this, there is a certain nostalgic character to a film photo. The aesthetic texture, boosted contrast, and opulent grain adds this unique richness and warmth to the photo, as if you're looking at an old memory. This leads me to my second point, and funnily enough, I have a recent story about this. A few months ago, my uncle was clearing out his garage and stumbled upon his old film camera that he used when travelling around the world. Knowing I was into photography, he gave it to me, but then, something interesting happened. I discovered there was still a roll of undeveloped film inside. I went and got it developed, and I was actually shocked by what I saw. I literally just unlocked 30-year-old forgotten memories. I especially liked this beautiful shot of a sunrise creeping over the Golden Gate Bridge, which, when chucked in a Lightroom, makes for a pretty good Instagram post. And I think it's this scarcity and sense of unknowingness that makes the development of a film photo so special. You quite literally are unlocking forgotten memories every time you get your photos back. And particularly in today's culture, delayed gratification is something uncommon, and it's actually becoming rare to find things with true human craftsmanship put into them. And this goes into the realm of movies too, with a lot of famous Hollywood directors preferring to shoot their movies on film. People like Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, and Steven Spielberg shoot predominantly all their movies in film style, even with the ease of using a digital camera. According to staff, as soon as the camera starts rolling on these sets, everyone goes quiet, as they know they have a limited amount of quality time when shooting on film. Steven Spielberg even said he'll remain loyal to the art form until the last film lab closes, which says a lot coming from one of the biggest directors of all time. And I think it's this sense of agency and true artistry that makes film stand out. As you can tell, there has been genuine care put into the construction of the image. Although digital photography is cheaper, more abundant, and has far less room for error, shooting on film forces you to slow down and be intentional about what you're doing. So, why are film cameras so popular? Well, if I had to boil it down, it would be these 3 points of authenticity, old memories, and human craftsmanship.
I like that a lot.
I think most importantly though, it's the idea that film cameras remind us to appreciate things in the moment. Experiences that might seem casual at the time might actually become incredibly meaningful to us if you look back at them through film. I think this scene from The Secret Life of Walter Mitty sums it up best, where Sean Penn's character, a photographer who only ever shoots on film, decides to just appreciate the moment.
When are you gonna take it?
Sometimes I don't. If I like a moment, I mean me, personally, I don't like to have the distraction of the camera. I just want to stay in
And that's it. In a world of machine gun photography, overstimulation, and constant technology, film is a rare sniper rifle in an otherwise crowded battlefield. Something truly authentic and honest. Well, either that, or it is a great way for drunk teenagers to take photos of each other at parties, and help them piece together the big night they had on the given set.